Welcome. In just the next few minutes, we're going to unlock one of the most useful skills you can have in Spanish, telling time. It's a real fundamental, and by the end of this, you'll have the framework to do it with total confidence.
Okay, let's dive right in. It all starts with this one simple question. ¿Qué hora es? This is your go-to phrase for what time is it, and pretty much everything we're about to cover is the answer to this question.
First things first, we need to cover the single most important rule in telling time in Spanish. And trust me, it's all about the number one. This one little distinction is the foundation for everything else.
So here's the deal. Spanish basically splits time into two super simple groups. If it's 1 o'clock, you say es la una, because 1 is singular. Easy, right? But for every other hour from 2 all the way to 12, it's plural, so you're always going to start with son las.
So, for example, you'd say son las dos for 2 o'clock or son las once for 11 o'clock. See? Once you've got son las locked in, you just pop the number for the hour right after it.
Okay, now that we've got the hours down, let's start adding minutes into the mix. We'll kick things off with the first half of the clock.
And you know what? The formula for this is incredibly simple. It's basically you state the hour, then the word y, which just means and then you tack on the number of minutes. That's a very literal, straightforward system.
You can see it in action right here. 2:05 becomes son las dos y cinco, which literally translates to it is 2 and 5. The exact same logic applies for 4:10. Son las cuatro y diez.
And here are a couple of awesome shortcuts that'll make you sound way more like a native speaker. Instead of saying 15 minutes, just use y cuarto for a quarter past. And for 30 minutes, or half past, you'll use y media.
All right, now for the second half of the clock, from minute 31 all the way to 59. This is where Spanish does something really clever, kind of like a countdown trick, that's actually super efficient once you get the hang of it.
And the magic word for this whole trick is menos, which literally just means minus or less. Let's see how that works. So let's just reframe how we think about this for a second. It's a slightly different way of looking at time. You're not counting past the hour anymore. You're counting down to the next one. Instead of 5:50, what if we just said 10 minutes until 6?
Well, that's exactly what Spanish does with this formula. You actually say the next hour, and then you just use menos to subtract the minutes left until you get there. Let's look at a couple of examples to make this crystal clear. For 7:45, you go to the next hour, which is 8, and subtract 15 minutes. So it becomes son las ocho menos cuarto, 8 o'clock minus a quarter. For 5:50, it's son las seis menos diez.
Okay, we've got the hours, we've got the minutes. Let's add that final layer of polish to make sure you're always understood perfectly. This is super straightforward. Instead of AM and PM, you just tack on one of these simple phrases at the end. De la mañana for the morning, de la tarde for the afternoon, and de la noche for the evening or at night.
So if you want to be really specific that it's 8 in the morning and not at night, you just say son las ocho de la mañana. It's a really clear and descriptive way to do it. All right, you've learned all the rules. You've got the foundation, the minutes, the countdown, the whole shebang. So let's put it to the test with a quick little challenge. See how you do. First up, how would you say 6:30? Go on, take a second, and think about that special shortcut we just learned for 30 minutes past the hour.
If you said son las 6:30, you are absolutely right. Fantastic. 6.5.
Okay, now for a trickier one, 9:55. How would you say that? Remember that countdown method. What's the next hour, and how many minutes till you get there?
Yep, you got it. It's son las 10 menos 5. The next hour is 10, and it's 5 minutes away. 10 o'clock minus 5 minutes. See, you've totally got this. And that really brings us to the main takeaway here. You now have all the essential building blocks for telling time in Spanish. This whole cheat sheet right here summarizes all the core rules we've covered, from that basic question all the way to the countdown method. And that's your guide. Now that you actually know how to tell the time in Spanish, the only question left is how are you going to use it on your next big adventure? The time is all yours.